The story begins with three mountain climbers, Dan, his wife Bucky, and their friend Hunter. They all shared a passion for mountain climbing and were highly skilled, especially Bucky. Suddenly, while climbing, Bucky lost her footing, but at the last moment, she managed to catch herself, preventing a disastrous fall. Dan, witnessing this, thought to himself, did I just envy her or what? While Dan was climbing, he reached an opening in the mountain when, suddenly, a bird hit him in the face and hand. He lost his grip, but thankfully, the safety rope saved him. He swung on the rope, desperately trying to reach the mountain's edge, but it wasn't easy. Suddenly, the rope detached from its anchor. Tragically, Dan fell to his death before his wife's eyes. A year passed. Bucky was still in shock over Dan's death. She isolated herself, refusing to answer any calls. She would frequently call Dan's voicemail just to hear his voice. One day, as she stepped outside, she found her father waiting for her. He said, "Why is your phone always off? You need to wake up. Your sadness won't change anything." She replied, "He deserves my grief." Her father sighed and said, "That guy wasn't worth all this sadness," and left him standing there. Once she got home, she couldn't bear the pain any longer. She decided to take her own life. Just as she was about to swallow the pills, her friend Hunter called at the perfect moment. "Open the door. I'm outside," Hunter said. Bucky let her in. Hunter tried to comfort her, encouraging her to go outside and move forward. She persuaded her to take on a new mountain climb, one that Dan had always dreamed of reaching. At first, Bucky refused, but after persistent convincing, she agreed. They embarked on the climb together. During the ascent, while they are in their way, her father called her, but she ignored him and they stopped in hotel, and in the night they eat some food before they continue in the next morning. Her friend Hunter made a new YouTube channel and start to document everything she do on social media, and while she's sharing their journey, a seed truck was about to crush them, but they stopped in the last minute. Finally they arrived and they was very scared, especially Hunter, but Pikey encouraged her to continue cause that how she can heal, and hey start to climb. While they climbing, Bucky found herself in a difficult situation. She lost her footing and nearly fell. In that moment, she whispered to herself, "Dan, are you seeing this? Is this how you felt?" Hunter saved her just in time. She looked into her friend's eyes and realized she had a second chance. This climb wasn't just about conquering a mountain, it was about conquering her own grief. As they continued their climb, the rusty metal was getting more dangerous, but they continue anyway. They finally get to the top, but there was a little stairs to get them into the highest point, and they decided to get this little stairs. They start to celebrate the moment using their mobiles and drone, but the signals start to disappear in this point cause it's really high to connect with the signal. They were in their way back down, but it was time to descend. Disaster struck. The ladder beneath Bucky gave way, leaving her hanging by a rope. Hunter quickly secured it and managed to pull her back up just in time. Stranded at the top with no network signal, crushing their last hope. As hunger and thirst set in, Hunter attempted to retrieve their water supply but suffered a devastating fall. Desperate to survive, Bucky came up with a new idea. She wrote an SOS post on Instagram and placed her phone inside her shoe, throwing it down in hopes of getting a signal and uploading the message. If the post uploaded, rescue would come. If the phone broke, they would remain stranded. A short while later, they spotted a man with his dog below. They screamed at the top of their lungs, trying to get his attention. However, he didn't hear them due to the distance and his phone call. His dog reached their phone, but unfortunately, the device was broken. The man, distracted by his call, ignored his dog's discovery and walked away. Later, he and a friend arrived with a truck to camp in the area. They decided to fire a distress flare at night, hoping the campers would see it and come to their rescue. Hours passed, and as night fell, Bucky reminisced about her memories with Dan. Hunter interrupted her, urging her to fire the flare. She took a deep breath and launched it into the sky. The campers noticed it and started moving in their direction. However, instead of helping, they saw Hunter's car and became tempted by its beauty. Greedy for the vehicle, they stole it and drove away, leaving Bucky and Hunter in despair. Hope faded, and exhaustion took over as they spent the night awake in fear. Hunter grew thirsty and insisted she had to retrieve their water supply. She descended using a rope, but it fell short of reaching the bag. With no other option, she unhooked herself and jumped onto the dish platform, successfully grabbing the bag and quenching her thirst. But getting back up wasn't so easy. The rope was too far. Thinking quickly, she used a selfie stick to hook the bag onto a knot in the rope, successfully securing it before attempting to climb up. Just as she neared safety, her grip failed, and she fell. Bucky, frozen in fear, couldn't bear to watch her friend plummet to her death. Mustering her courage, she looked down and saw Hunter alive, sitting on the bag. "I'm okay," Hunter reassured her. But her hands were badly injured, making it impossible to climb back up. It was up to Bucky to pull her to safety. After a grueling struggle, she succeeded. Bucky, exhausted and thirsty, took a drink before writing an SOS note and attaching it to the drone, hoping someone would see it. Unfortunately, the drone's battery was weak and could crash at any moment. They pulled it back for safety, waiting for daylight to attempt again. At dawn, Bucky noticed a flickering light above them. She realized she could use its electrical source to charge the drone. She climbed to the top, removed the light, and connected the drone charger. As it charged, a vulture attacked her, causing her to drop her bag. She barely managed to fight it off. Upon returning, she scolded Hunter for letting the water bag fall. But Hunter didn't respond. Stranded at the top with no network signal, they devised a desperate plan to send an SOS message using a drone. Unfortunately, a passing car accidentally knocked the drone away, crushing their last hope. As hunger and thirst set in, Hunter attempted to retrieve their water supply but suffered a devastating fall. Bucky, in shock, realized she had been hallucinating Hunter's presence all along. Her friend had died much earlier, and she had been imagining her company for survival. Then, the truth hit her. Hunter was never there. She had died long ago when she first fell retrieving the water. Bucky had been imagining her presence for survival. Devastated, Bucky saw Hunter's corpse on the dish platform, vultures feasting on her remains. Overcome with shock, she froze in place. Soon, another vulture approached, drawn by the scent of blood on her leg. In a moment of desperation, she grabbed it, slammed it against the platform, and killed it. She ate its raw meat to regain her strength. She then took her phone and climbed down to Hunter's body. Writing one last distress message with their coordinates, she placed the phone inside Hunter's shoe, stuffed it inside the corpse, and threw it down. This was her last hope. Miraculously, the message reached her father, who arrived at the tower along with the police. Upon seeing a body bag, he panicked, fearing the worst. But then, he heard his daughter's voice. Overwhelmed with relief, he embraced her as she tearfully apologized for her past behavior, telling him how much she loved him. The film ends with this emotional reunion. See you in the next film review.